Good afternoon, and thanks very much for coming. And it's great seeing faces and presenting in front of people and not in front of my laptop. And so, thank you very much for attending, being here. I'm pleased to be here in Perth, but I also like to say thank you for the viewers that are watching us from overseas and perhaps from Europe as well. Well, I've got close to 20 years by now experience in mining, and I'm really pleased to tell you the story about Galan. I always say this is a very personal story because I'm the founder of the company. I was in Argentina 3 years ago, and I was driving past talking to my geology manager, and he mentioned there was an opportunity for a little stamp at Hombre Muerto. This changed very quickly for me to assess what was happening at Hombre Muerto. And now there is a story. Now I'm going to tell you where we at. But I quit my job, sold my car, took my savings and everything that I had, and put it all on the line. Went to Argentina, Catamarca, based myself for 2 months, and I'm putting it all privately to then back to a list. Since then, we've done a lot of work, a ton of work, and it's been fantastic. And we've got a great team in Argentina. We are doing a lot of work. We may be seeing that we're not showing much, but trust me, we are doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I went to bed around 1:30 last night. We are very engaged in what we're doing. So in due course, we'll show our results. In due course, we'll be showing what we made of. But the key things for our company, our project. And what we have is a fantastic project because we have high grade and low impurities. You don't come across that combination in a lithium brine sector. So when you look at brines, don't think of WA in terms of the grade of spodumene. Just look at milligrams per liter. So the higher of milligrams per liter you have, the better the project. Also, we have low levels of magnesium and sulfate. So those combinations are fantastic for us. Now, we have a low carbon footprint. So if you look at what we have, we're trying to do this in the most simple way. We have a plan to get this through solar evaporation, proven technology, and as a result, we'll have a small footprint of in our carbon footprint. The reason is the nature has done all the crushing and the grinding and the solubility in the brine. So all what we're doing is using what we have, plenty of sun in an area that has a high level of radiation, so evaporation is very efficient, and we're working with it. So carbon footprint is very small, something to remember. Now, in terms of people, as I mentioned, I've got a fantastic team, not only helping and supporting here in Australia, but also on the other side of the world in Chile and Argentina. If I can make what's the difference between Galan and other junior companies in the same space is, as you hear, I've got plenty of mining experience. I'm an analyst, I'm an optimizer, I look commercially at what we have. How can we stretch our dollar further looking for commercial solutions? And I'm not standing still to get the answer, technical answer for what it is. I try to understand and commercially make the most out of it. Also, our team's got a fantastic lithium experience. Our geology manager, 15 years experience, nothing but lithium brines. Our study manager is based in Chile, and he's a Chilean-Australian, Boris, and he's got plenty of mining experience, hands-on studies, and he's also working in Argentina in lithium, and also Daniel. Daniel's got 28 years working experience with SQM, and he's part of our board. So we have a solid team. We have people that understand lithium. We understand lithium brines very well, and we're trying to move forward in a very safe way because we're a small company and we're trying to maximize what we have. Now, we do have access to water. In everything that we're trying to do, we are trying to make sure that whatever solution we come with, we have enough water. So for us, the worst case scenario, access to water comes from Candelas, and we can do reverse osmosis. We've done a mass balance. We have probably around 100 years of potential fresh water in our ground on the low-grade stuff that we have in the southern part of Candelas. So the answer is yes. Do we have water for processing? Yes. Do we have to tap from freshwater sources? No. We tap in from our low-grade brine that is converted, separated into fresh water and enhanced brine that we can later process, so nothing goes to waste. Now, the next thing is it's all well and true to have high grade and low impurities, but we have already the resource. We can think what we have can have the fundamentals for development, and especially at Hombre Muerto West, and this is where we put in all our efforts today. We find that we have almost 1.4 million tons sitting there that we can think of what to do with it. And I will show you in the presentation where we can get to that. But just as a reference, when the market was hot and Galaxy sold the sal de vida to POSCO, they paid $280 million for one of the best chemistry in the world, that is at Hombre Muerto, selling half of sal de vida to POSCO. Is it worth it? Probably not today, but if you put forward the clock 3 years, 5 years time, that will look like an acceptable price. Things are changing, things will change, and they're moving in the right direction. So bear in mind, 2.54 million tons, that was a transaction. We already got close to 2.1, and we have room to keep growing and go beyond that point. So this is a long story. For us, it's a marathon. One of the key messages that I want to say is that we're doing a lot of work, and while the price of lithium is low, and this is a true story, this is something that we can develop. This is something that's got legs, because it's got the right people, it's got everything forward. So when the market turns next year, we'll have a study done, we'll have a pre-feasibility done, we'll be in pole position to start among the first ones in the sector. And we're already getting the attention, by the way, of funds. We have one of our funds called Thematica, and they're based in Luxembourg. And by not having a PEA, which we're working and we expect to have in the next, in late November or no later than early December, we will have the resolve to say, this is our CapEx, this is our OpEx, this is our NPV, this is our assumptions. And we'll be able to show that we have a competitive project, and that's what we're pushing for. But Thematica put the money before having these results, and the interest is slowly growing. So the world is changing, and we're doing a great work. And lastly, the work that we're doing, the engineering firm that is doing the study is Worley, and it's a Worley Chile team. So they are fantastic. They are very experienced. It's not Worley Australia, because they know hard rock. In Chile, they know brines, and know very, very well. So a bit more about us, where we are. So we are in what is well known as the Lithium Triangle. We are in a lithium hub. So we have the Livent Corporation, we have Galaxy Resources, and then we got POSCO. So why all of this is important? So if I say lithium today, you'll think of WA. But if I can tell you that the Lithium Revolution started at Hombre Muerto with Livent, this started with Sonic Handycams, and fast forward, and Livent sell most of the production to Panasonic. Panasonic is known to do one of the best batteries in terms of quality in the world, and that battery is sold to Tesla. So on Tesla cars, you already have a bit of Hombre Muerto running through that, and that started in Argentina. It didn't start here, it started there. So I'm not reinventing the wheel on a project that has never produced lithium. This is the real thing. So all what we're doing is developing this methodically, step by step. We will get there, and we'll be delivering on what we say we'll do. So in terms of the chemistry, this is one of the key things in terms of the chemistry. You see grade and impurities, the lithium to magnesium. So the higher the grade, the lower the impurities, the better your product becomes for being developed. And we are in pole position for our project. And if you look at who's coming after us, it's POSCO, Livent, and Galaxy. So we are in a system that we have high grade and low impurities. Now, putting more complexity into this, I'm putting sulfur to lithium and magnesium to lithium. So the closer to zero, the cleaner your product, and now our products are in this cluster. This might all look a bit complicated. I'll be here for the next couple of days. You can ask me any question out of the booth, and I'm happy to answer further questions. But this is a flavor of why this is very important. Now, I mentioned about the carbon footprint. We have a small carbon footprint. This is lithium carbonate production from brine. This is taken from SQM. And when you look at lithium carbonate produced from hard rock, then you can see the carbon footprints becomes bigger. The same goes with the energy consumption. We have plenty of sun that we use to our advantage. In terms of the company, we have 182 million shares, and we are a tightly held company with 27% of the company held under board and management. Top 20 is around 54%. I personally know most of them. top 50, probably I know half of them. And this is a story that has been sticking with us, mainly with the people that we know for a long time. So what I'm inviting you to is to have a look at what we have, and we are setting up to move forward into the future, but with a strong base, with a strong project, and also with people that have been sticking with us for a while. I understand that lithium is not the flavor of the month, and probably not of the year, but things will change, and when they change, they'll run. A bit about our board. We have Richard, myself, and Daniel is our key man. Chris is very supportive of us. Terry, that you'll see around here in the conference, and Raymond, that came along with me when I started this company privately. Now, where we are located, this is the Hombre Muerto Basin. Just to give you a reference, this is around 45 kilometers long by 45 kilometers in width. It is massive. You know, from here to Fremantle, just to give you an idea, it's 15 kilometers. So it's 3 times the distance from here to Fremantle by the same side of distance. So Perth will fit there, no problems. It takes a long time to cross this place. So we may not look as big, but we have enough to have a project and with a lot of longevity, and explain you why. If you look at the grade that we have, which is one of the highest in Argentina, we have already also a resource of around 1.4 million tons in indicated. If you transform that by half, then we have potentially 700,000 tons of potential resource. Now, Livent is producing 20,000 tons a year. So 700,000 tons of potential reserves divided by what Livent is producing, that's 35 years mine life. That is a long mine life by any sort of means in the mining space. And if you start increasing that production, you know, you still can think of 30, 25 years mine life and, you know, not move the needle on where you are. So this is something that it can be done. And one of the things that we noticed is that we have a small footprint for evaporation. We have good recovery so far, and we have sent the brine to the lab. And one of the biggest things that we did last weekend, we announced, is the brine is already at the lab. We sent that to Chile. Despite COVID-19 restriction, we have our physical brine in a lab, and we expect in Q1 to have the results for the evaporation ponds and then the production of lithium carbonate. Now, in our area, just want to give you an idea. This area here, the dark area, is the area that Orocobre has for the 17,500 thousand tons lithium carbonate per year installed capacity. Now, this all fits already in our ground. So we have enough space today to do what we need to do. Now, in terms of our time frame of where we at, we are going to be delivering our PFS, so our PEA in next quarter. We finalize our PFS in Q2. We're already asking our pilot permit as soon as we finish our PEA, and then we start with our feasibility and pilot plan in Q3 next year for the next 12 months. So we're going to be delivering a lot of stages through our development. Now, in Argentina, things are a bit slow, but we have a strong support from Catamarca. And a reflection of that, we were given drilling permits very quickly. Spoken to them last week, and they've been very supportive. There's a new mine minister, and they've been embracing our ideas and where we want to go. So all of this is work in progress. We have catalysts; they're all happening, and I look forward to updating you guys when we start producing our announcement in the next few months. So watch this space. This may change very soon. Thank you very much.